Okay. Welcome back to Super Sentai Reviews, episode number 28. This I'm viewing episodes 3 through 7. Yep, 3 through 7. And this one, now these episodes, we have introduction of something new, and they change a character. Well, how should I put this? They change an actor for a character. Yes. The character Commander Hatter, they replace him. Yes, they replaced the original actor in episode 7, which was his last one. Kenja Ushiro. Now, they replaced him with Mashui Ibushi, I think it's pronounced the guy's name. Yeah, they replaced him with this guy. Well, there's a reason for that. And the reason is the original actor got caught with drugs. Yeah, apparently he was arrested for drug possession, so they just fired him on the spot and replaced him with this other guy. I haven't seen a new episode from him yet, but here's what happens in these episodes. Episode 3 Now, episodes 3 through 5 is basically it's the build-up to the debut of the first ever Megazord in the Super Sentai franchise. And basically, 6 is basically trying to stop it. 7, just a regular standard episode. 3 simply much is this, where everybody's simply hanging out, and also we see we see Japan, where he goes into, we mentioned there's supposedly a spy, and we think it's Japan because he's taking pictures of the robo blueprints. And everybody thinks he's a spy. Well, the three guys do. Deanne does not think he's a spy. And he meets up with a magazine chief where he tries to sell one of the blueprint, one of the pictures. And he tries to, but well, he sells one of the pictures to the actual, supposedly the editor, who is a woman. Yes, even the 70s, basically. Like, because I think that it was probably, this is just my personally, I think that the sexism, basically, that was prevalent in the 60s had pretty much died down because this is 1979. So, my guess is basically it was probably okay at that point for women to basically run their own business. I mean, nowadays, it's such as say it's standard fare. And she tries to buy the damn thing from him. And yeah, it turns out the one he took pictures of were actually fakes. Yeah, seriously, fakes. Now, the thing about the actress who plays this one, she actually comes back in the following season. Oh yeah, she does. Comes back as one of the villains for the very next season of the show. Yeah. My guess is they must have liked her so much they decided to simply bring her back. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They bring back the actress, and I gotta say, at the time, she looked like a very lovely woman. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Though I think she has since passed away about 14 years ago. Actually, 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. At the age of 68. So my guess is at the time of the case, this one, 1979, she must have been like 31. And I'm like, damn, she looks great for her. Yeah, because, well, born in 1978, and this came out in 1979, so she must have been 31 when this actually. No, I think she might have been. No, I'm thinking like. It may have been 40. Yeah, I think she may have been 41, but she looked great for her age. So, she basically is the human form of Death Mask. That's the monster for this one. And they tried to get it, but nope. Yep, and it turns out the whole thing of Japan basically trying to sell the blueprints. Well, excuse me, of course, I think it was Kasek who had punching in the face a couple times. And it turns out that the general told him, yeah, he told him to do it on purpose. He basically did not want to betray them, but he had to in order to figure out who the spy was, basically because the chief of science of this magazine was very suspicious. And it turns out he was a spy for Agros. And they confront him, of course, he gets killed, and Deathmaster basically is confronted by, well, Battle Fever J, and then the creature is defeated. And despite the fact they refer to this thing as a son, anybody can clearly tell it's a female just by the frickin' suit. Maybe because it's played by a woman. Who knows? Yeah. Yeah, episode 4 is quite unique. We have sort of in a way a bit of character development on a couple of supporting characters in this series, which is quite interesting. So we have this mysterious, like, psychic detective known as Bronze Tiger. No, seriously, that's what he seriously calls himself, Bronze. He's known as, well, Bengal Tiger. Yes, Bengal Tiger. And then he, of course, is transformed into the psychosis monster. Yeah, apparently he was convinced to join Egros, so I think he seemed like a pretty decent person. Also, Egros is getting really desperate. What the heck is Battle people basically building? So they kidnap the chief of they kidnap the intelligence director, which, okay, he might know what it is. And, of course, they recruit, well, the Bengal Tiger to their cause, transform the monster, and they check his mind out. And he doesn't find anything. Basically, it's so top secret. So they just kill the guy. By the way, the guy they kidnap is Cossack's superior officer. Basically, he's no friend of his. And he's the uncle of the two kids who are at the rent-a-car place where Japan basically where he rents the green car he drives in the series. Yes, and the uncle, of course, this guy is actually the uncle. Of course, Cossack goes to, let's just say, goes with him, and of course they find him, and of course Cossack is visibly upset. But as for the woman who says that she's his niece, and I'm like, she doesn't seem that upset by it, which I thought that was kind of weird. Also, like when Bengal Tiger shakes hands with her later, it's like this woman's got some telepathic, like, has some telekinesis. So it checks apparently some kind of medical device in her head. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know if they actually, well, no, that's not it. Let's see. No, that's not it. Here she is, yes. Yeah, the thing with, like, there's a mechanical thing on her. I don't think it was ever explained where the heck that came from. So the Bengal Tiger decides to trail her, and then Japan basically informs her, basically, hell, here's your tip, and informs her she's being watched. She just goes about. Eventually, the Bengal Tiger tries to go after. Oh, and by the way, in episode 3, they found out that Egros is forming their own gigantic robot. Yep. Which makes his debut in episode 5. So they later battle him, the Bengal Tiger, while you get transformed into the monster, and of course he's defeated. I kind of count episode 4 as a very interesting episode because it kind of gives a little bit of development on this supporting character. And her name is Kikyo Nagara. Yeah, she's a pretty good supporting character. Even though, yes, she's a spy, but excuse me, she there's like some kind of telekinesis with her, but who knows? The very next episode is quite important to the series. Why? Because the debut of the Battle Fever Robo. Yes. And the best way to describe this thing, it looks like a gigantic samurai. Let's see if I can bring it up here. Yeah, I'm going to attempt to bring it up. This is from the Wiki site. Let's see here. No. That's it. That's the Battlefield Robo. That's not the only thing making its debut in this episode. Oh no. We also debut of one other thing. We also debut of the Battle Shark, which is basically their submarine. It's the carrier for the damn thing. And that's it. That's the carrier. I'm like, okay, it kind of looks like a flying battleship, the way it does. And, like, when, of course, well, and it seems as though they probably didn't tell their general that, oh yeah, Egos has got their own, let's just say, they have their own robo. And I'm thinking, though, wouldn't the general basically know about this ahead of time? Did the Battle Fever Rangers not tell him? He seems quite shocked about it. So they unleash their robo, so they go back to headquarters. They get inside the Battle Shark. They fly out, take out, well, the show's version of the Devil Sharks from the last season, which these are called Agro Sharks. And they take them all out. It's like 3 at a time for some reason. So then they basically show off the actual, and of course, well, the first monster, which is, let's see, the monster is the buffalo monster, and man, when this thing first shows up, it's like, oh, let's just basically have it where, excuse me, where. And apparently, the way that these things work when it goes to monster, instead of in other seasons where you just basically have something to make the monster go higher, go bigger. Apparently, Egros did develop this. This probably was developed a little later on, where they actually had basically a robo-sized version of the small monster they already have. And with this episode, this becomes a standard fare for probably for the rest of the series. Well, for the rest of this one, anyways. So they have pretty much they basically use a bunch of weapons. They basically use a sword, a shield, a spear, and basically looks like little daggers. Keep doing this. It's called the cross fever. Do this, and then they just throw the thing like throw knives. Hits the monster, explodes. Yep. Next one, well, it's interesting. Of course, they found of course, Egros developed a strategy to, like, slow down the progress of getting the robo. And they try to hang out with one of the monsters heading out there, and it gets attacked by a missile when they decide to do something ingenious. Yeah, apparently Commander Heller decided to get this. He decided to take a radar station. Yes, a radar station, which is meant to be used for airplanes. He takes control of this by pretty much killing all the military personnel. And the military personnel episode, man, these guys are stupid. like, okay, so they have the monster basically as like for Operation Shrine. They bring it to their base, which that's stupid. They bring it like inside the base, and then they kill the soldiers, and they kills all the soldiers in this one room. And then Commander was like, "Oh, we captured this place with no people lost." From their end, they killed like a handful of Japanese soldiers from the Self-Defense Force. And of course, they redirect the battle shark to fly in this other direction where it gets hit by a missile. And apparently it's appeared off screen later on because when they bring it back, they pretty much have it where they take on the monster again. And they bring out, well, the monster also does partially destroy the radar station. Yes, partially destroy, take out one of the domes, some other buildings, and eventually the creature is destroyed. And it was actually the first time that it seems as though, with this one anyways, that Agros seems basically very successful. So they took a radar station with, like, no problem. Though the strategy of preventing them from getting through Robo in time, yeah, this is quickly abandoned by them like for our next episode, which becomes sort of a cult-like episode. Where, like, here's the thing, Commander Heller appears like one scene the entire episode. Yeah, along with Satan Agros. Yeah, these two briefly appear for like one scene. And the monster for this one is a fire monster. Yeah, seriously, it's a fire monster. It is referred to as the Fireball monster, and the one they battled in the previous episode was Dagu monster, which they referred to as a Earther monster, which I thought was kind of weird. The Fireball monster, oh boy, this guy, he kind of looks like a reused monster design from a few different monsters. And, like, okay, so he has the Cutmen act as basically arsonist, and his thing is like burning down houses for some reason. Don't know why. Oh, and here's something really kind of racist, basically, they decided to do. They have the Cutmen wear basically hoods like the members of the KKK. When I saw this, I'm like, really? Is this necessary? I get the fact, oh yeah, this guy is, anybody who's against Egros is evil. Egros, you're the evil organization, and yet you put people who's not Egros as evil? Oh, and by the way, they actually have this boy who apparently is a survivor of one of the fires. And get this, his house was burned down because of, get this, his parents refused to become followers of Egros. I'm like, really? So, you burned down this kid's house because the parents said no. And you couldn't do this back in episode 2. Yeah, I thought this was kind of weird. So, you burned down people's houses who apparently, oh yeah, and there's this firefighter acting very rough. And of course, Cossack, who of course is involved in this one, he of course finds the guy later. And apparently he's a member of this cultist group who apparently wear KKK masks. And eventually, of course, they do some of the Robo, and of course, the monster's destroyed. But this is by far the most weirdest one. I mean, come on, really? A fire and having a Cutman pose as a nurse? Seriously? Like, what? Wow. Oh, and by the way, bye-bye, original actor for Commander Heller. Say hello to your replacement. Though, here's the weird thing, though. His voice, basically, when I listen to it, he sounds a lot like, basically, Boss Iron Claw, like the same exact actor. But no, it's a completely different actor. Yeah, not really sure why. It's just that, well, that's basically how it is. Yeah, episode 7 also introduced to a robot bird named Kerato. Oh, neat thing about episode 6, I thought it was really kind of funny, where they have two of the agents who work for whatever agency Battlefield J works for, and they have them try to pilot the Battle Shark. And then when the Battlefield Rangers come on board, they're basically sitting to the side, let them sit in their own chairs. And apparently Battlefield J doesn't mind the fact that we have two agents inside their freaking Megazord. Yeah, for some reason they have no problem with it at all. And these two do appear in the very next episode, except they're the controls, and apparently it's an automatic control. Then why did you have them pilot the damn thing? Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird. Yeah, unlike in the case of Jack, where they actually explain the agency they work for, this one they don't. Yeah, like, and so far in these 7 episodes I have seen this, apparently they work for the National Defense Ministry, which, okay, like, that is apparently who they work for, the National Defense Agency. And, like, anybody who's not socially about fear, apparently they can't hang out in the office for reasons. It is by far one of the most, let's just say, one of the most oddest, because I mean, they barely bring up National Defense Agency. In the case of Jack, like almost every episode they bring up the agency that they work for, and the entire 35 episode, even the movie they bring up the name of the agency they work for. Here is just, I think they bring it up at the first episode, and so far 7 episodes in, and you're thinking, are they gonna bring up again basically the name of the agency they work for? Because I think anybody who probably watched it for a while, I think people may have forgotten what agency they work for. Unless, of course, with bench watching it. Yeah. Episode's not bad, but I at least gotta praise the fact Egros is going to be really good villains. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe one of the writers from Jack came on board of this one and basically integrated some stuff he wrote for that one into this. Because Commander Heller, basically, one thing, in the 7 episodes, even if he's failing, he does apologize for his efforts. But here's the thing. Does he get punished for it? No. No, he does not get punished for his failures. Probably because, basically, he's very faithful to St. Negros. Yeah, probably because he's because he's been very loyal to him this whole period of time. That's probably the reason why he does not get punished. And he parades around with this, like, little, like, brush for some reason. Even though from what I can tell, he's a high priest, even though he's a commander. Yeah. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. So, next one, and I'm hoping to do this, but in fact I don't get late for this, I'll discuss episodes 8 to 13 and episode 29. Okay? So, next video. Bye.